Hi, thank you. So we actually invited a few of our winners that we announced. We had the pleasure of announcing last week. One of the greatest joys that I have in this job, and I know my co-advisor Derek Ariz shares, that we select our Viking Award recipients. It's one of the highest awards that we give in student life, and we had the honor of announcing our students this week. So can I have Bradford Brown and Tanu come up here really quick? So we actually awarded Tanu Nelson Ayu, who's standing directly behind me, as our Spring 2014 Viking Award recipient. So congratulations, Tanu. And sure. And Bradford Brown, who's right next to him. Congratulations, Bradford. And our very own Andrea Donato for her work this semester. So congratulations, Andrea. And last but not least, our actual ASB president, who is unfortunately ill with surgery, Marco Valencia Mendoza. He was our 5th recipient. So thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations, and thank you for all the efforts that people put in. Your time and energy is well appreciated. And that's the final, President Oakley. No other items?
That's all we have on that item.
Very good. We're now to Administrative Services 12.8. This is an action item. It's an Educational Protection Account funding and expenditures. Prop 30, the Schools and Local Public Safety Act of 2012. There is a recommendation to approve. The background in it is in our packet as well. I'm trying to look through this to give people a sense for it, but it's created. This EPA account is created in the general fund to receive and distribute those temporary tax revenues, and that's what essentially this has been done. First, I'll start with, could I entertain a motion to approve item 12.8, the Education Protection Account funding and expenditures?
So moved.
Motion by Trustee Bowen, second by Trustee Clark. Are there questions on this item? Hearing none, Madam Secretary, if you could please call the roll on item 12.8.
President Kellogg?
Aye.
Vice President Clark?
Aye.
Member Bowen?
Aye.
Member Otto?
Aye.
Member Uranga?
Aye. 12.8 carries. 12.9, this is the institutional membership. Again, in the Ballard packet, it is in alphabetical order, everything from the Academic Senate for the California Community Colleges, Accreditation Commission for Education and Nursing, all the way down through the California Chamber of Commerce, then including, as you can go through, the different Honors Transfer Council of California, the Lakewood Chamber of Commerce, Leadership Long Beach. It goes on and on. These are all the memberships that we're involved with. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the institutional memberships for 2014-2015.
So moved.
Motion by Trustee Bowen, second by Trustee Clark. Questions, comments, members of the board at this time?
I have a comment.
Chair recognizes Trustee Otto.
Me first?
Yeah, you're first.
Okay. So I think it's important to know, especially after the comment of Dr. Shaw, that a great number, or at least some of these memberships are not paid for out of our general fund, but come from our SBDC participation and other places. And so I think we have many requests, I know, to participate, but these are people that actually move our student success agenda forward, and that's why we're involved with it.
I agree. Other members of the board at this time? Hearing none. Madam Secretary, if you please call the roll on item 12.9, institutional memberships for 2014-2015.
President Kellogg?
Aye.
Vice President Clark?
Aye.
Member Bowen?
Aye.
Member Otto?
Aye.
And Member Uranga?
Aye. Motion carries. Next item, Pacific Coast Campus, no item, no report, correct. Next item, College Advancement Economic Development, no item, no report, correct. She disappeared on me. We now move to reports and communications. Academic Senate President?
Yes, hello. So I just wanted to make the formal announcement that the Academic Senate held their elections earlier in the month, and we have our executive board for 14-15. The president of the Academic Senate will be Karen Kane. The assistant, yay! John Downey will continue as the assistant president. Shauna Hagman will continue as the secretary-treasurer. Rodney Rodriguez will continue as our legislative liaison, making sure I don't forget anybody. Jorge Ochoa will continue as our PCC representative, and Kenna Hillman and Carlos Ramos will be our LAC representatives. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And when will that change take place?
End of the fiscal year, so I'm here until June 30th, and then Karen will be in the seat.
So you still have some more meetings with us now.
Yeah, I got a couple more. Okay.
All right, very good.
Thank
then.
you.
Thank you. Superintendent President report?
Yes, thank you, Board President Kellogg. I have a few items. First of all, I want to welcome Trustee Alexia again to the board meeting. Thank you for being here. A couple of announcements, but before that, I also want to personally congratulate Karen Kane on becoming the new Academic Senate President. As you all know, on this board, Karen's been with the college for many, many years and served in many, many roles, so we look forward to working with her in the upcoming year. I have received recommendations from the Selection Committee for the Vice President of Academic Affairs. I've received 3 candidates who will be participating in a final interview. They are scheduled for faculty-run campus forums this coming Thursday. So we look forward to everyone participating and listening into the candidates, and hope that one of them turns out to be our next Vice President of Academic Affairs, because I know Marilyn's getting tired of working with me. We also have a couple of very important dates coming up. We have the scholarship reception coming up on June 4th in the gym right across the way here. It's an opportunity to celebrate all the great donors who give through the Long Beach City College Foundation to our students, and to give the students who receive those donations an opportunity to be recognized for their hard work and to actually meet their donors. So it's always a wonderful event. I know many in the room here have donated to Long Beach City College Foundation, so if you can come out to that reception, please do so. Then, of course, the following day on June 5th is commencement, the day that we always look forward to, the culmination of a lot of hard work on behalf of our faculty and staff. And I certainly hope to see as many people as possible come celebrate the great accomplishments of our students. On June 5th, we have a commencement speaker, gosh, now I'm forgetting her name. Laura Dowd, thank you. I've been here too long. Laura Dowd, our city auditor, will be joining us as our commencement speaker, and of course she's an LBCC alum in our Hall of Fame, so we look forward to welcoming Laura. One other item that I know Trustee Donado has been reminding me to speak about. It's an issue that she brought up a few meetings back and raised a concern that perhaps some students may have concerns about speaking out either in this forum or any forum on campus. And I just want to clearly state that we encourage our students to participate in civic engagement, to express their voices, to express their concerns or support of any topic or item before this board or before anybody on campus. So I want to make that very clear to all of our student leaders, to all students throughout the campus, that I encourage them to continue to be engaged and to not feel any concern that whether you're speaking for an issue or against an issue, that there be any reason for any concern that your voice would not be welcomed. So I wanted to make that clear before Trustee Donato left us. Finally, we have been monitoring the events in Sacramento as we normally do this time of year as the budget unwinds. There's been a May revise to the governor's budget. There's been actions in both the Senate and the Assembly, and now all those actions are going to conference committee to negotiate a final budget. The community college budget is not a bad budget, not as great as we would like it to be, considering the state of California's revenue. Both the governor and the Department of Finance consider most of the increases in revenue as one-time infusions, primarily due to capital gains. So they are earmarking most of those funds as one-time expenditures. And so we see additional revenue in our categorical funds and deferred maintenance, and these are all good things. But again, we're still waiting for the California economy to really take root and for the revenues to begin to flow in a way that the governor and the legislature can put money back into our general fund going forward. So we'll keep monitoring what happens in Sacramento. We expect an on-time budget, and hopefully that will come sometime in June as the conference committee begins to deliberate a final budget proposal. And I think that's all I have.
All right, very good. Student trustee, your last opportunity.
Good afternoon, board members, students, members of the public, and professors. After a whole year of service as a student trustee, I feel accomplished and happy because I had the opportunity to represent and advocate for the students at LBCC. Also, I had the opportunity to serve the entire population of students of California Community Colleges by serving as the Director of External Affairs of the California Community College Association of Student Trustees. I had advocated for more benefits for undocumented students, more financial aid for the students who need it, and more benefits for the middle class. Locally, I have advocated for the disabled population, for more affordable books for every class, for the trades, and for the ESL department, among other things. But more important, I have advocated against what I consider goes against the mission of the community colleges, which is the two-tier system of AB 955. There is a lot more to be done, and I hope the next leaders of students could continue with the work this community, we together have done. But today, I found a little sad that while this board continued laying off the personnel, we are not directly advocating for more money for community colleges. It is a little frustrated that after I have presented a bill and a resolution that will benefit California Community College economy, this has not been taken in consideration. The first one was SB 1017, a bill that will tax the oil companies for the oil extraction, and we are the only state that doesn't do that. And this will bring a lot more money to our public education system. Also, I presented a resolution that pretend to amend Proposition 13 to close the corporate loophole. This resolution also pretends to bring more money to the educational system. It was my understanding that Trustee Bowen asked the board to put this resolution in the agenda, and it was a surprise for me not to see it. I will encourage this board and the administration to look deeper into this, since both the bill and the resolution are meant to resolve the problem of funding for community colleges. Furthermore, I feel I cannot stay quiet on the situation of the professors at Long Beach City College, and I will speak on this because it does affect the students and the classroom and outside the classrooms. In this room, I have here the claims and the discontent of professors, part-time and full-time. I have even heard that there are some professors living near the poverty line. I feel that if they are in better conditions, most probably their performance in class also will be better. I cannot speak negatively about any professor I have had, because all of them have gone a lot and beyond, at least with me and my friends. And I feel that they deserve a lot more. They really work hard to encourage students to achieve their goals, and I would like them to continue with the passion for students they have always shown. Lastly, I want to thank the board members and the administration for working with me through this whole year as a student trustee. And I want to especially thank board member Tom Clark for being a great mentor. Also, I want to thank the professors and the students leaders on campus who also have been working by my side with a great passion and love for this community college. It is amazing to see people really committed to LBCC. I wish for this community the best, and I will continue involved now from another position. It has been amazing serving this community and Long Beach City College students. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, thank you. Now to Board of Trustees, members of the board, addressing the, at this
I have a
time.
comment.
Chair recognizes Trustee Otto.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, first of all, congratulations to our student trustee for completing her year and being a real asset to the board. Last week, I went with members of a consortium of community college, K through 12, and business to Sacramento to interview for a $15 million grant for Long Beach City College. The results of that interview with the California Department of Education should be known in the near future. I believe that if we obtain this grant, that it's for career technical education, that it will be the largest grant we've ever received. I want in particular to compliment Marty Alvarado, who led this team, developed this proposal, and the respect that Long Beach City College and Marty received at the Department of Education, because we're involved in these kinds of programs and are leaders in this kind of program, was palpable in the room. So I'm optimistic that what will happen as a result of this process is that Long Beach City College will have more money to devote to student success and the other initiatives that we've been involved in the last half a dozen years or so. So I just wanted to report that. It was a great esprit de corps among the collaborators in this project, and I was very proud to have been included. Thanks.
Thank you. Also, thank you, Trustee Otto, for doing that on short notice. It was very important to have the presence of an elected board member at that event in Sacramento for the college's commitment to can be some tremendous upside for this college. That was also on the same day we had the Innovation Fund of America, where we did the award of 3 firms in that program. That is also very exciting. So thank you, Doug, for doing that on short notice and getting up there to Sacramento on behalf of the board. Other trustees at this time? Hearing none, there's no other future reports to report out at this time. At this point then, we do have public comments on non-agenda items. This is a total of 5 minutes will be allocated on each subject unless extended by the board president. After receiving testimony, the board may recommend placing such items on the agenda for future meeting or referring the item to staff for a report. We do have 7 speakers, and so the speakers don't feel offended. I'm required to be at another event, so I will be stepping out during the public comment period, and Vice President Tom Clark will take over on this item. The first speaker of these 7, Colleen, is it Sturrett? It's on Memorial Day. A nice way to start our meeting, hopefully on Memorial Day.
Thank you very much. My name is Colleen Sterrett. I'm a professor in the new Visual and Media Arts Department. And yes, I wanted to speak about what turns out to be Memorial Day. It's from an article that I happened to read in the LA Times this morning. And it's titled, Many CEOs Pay is an Insult to Working Families. It's by David Lazarus. And I'm just going to read you a couple of the things that are highlighted here that basically stood out to me as I read it. Memorial Day is in the rearview mirror, but here's one more thing to remember. American chief executives make too much darn money. I'm not saying that you shouldn't reward a person for a job well done, but many CEOs now pull down much more than their own employees, and it's an ugly insult to working families. Who's the worst offender? That would be CVS Caremark CEO Larry Merlo. According to a recent report from compensation researcher PayScale, his $12.1 million salary last year was 422 times the size of the median CVS wage of $28,000. Walgreens, the nation's biggest drugstore, saw its profits rise 15% in fiscal year ending in August 31st. Its stock price climbed more than 34%. Mike DeAngelis, CVS spokesman, says the pay at the pharmacy chain closely reflects the company's financial performance and success. We're committed to continuing to approach compensation responsibly, appropriately, and transparently. It goes on. The standard defense of sky-high CEO paychecks is that they're the only way companies can retain top-caliber executives. This, too, is a poke in the eye to working stiffs. Unfortunately, when it comes to executive pay, boards seldom act more than a rubber stamp in that capacity. This, too, needs to change. Memorial Day is an occasion to remember those who sacrifice for their country, and I'm certainly not seeking to trivialize the importance of such a moment. But along with Labor Day, this is an opportunity to commemorate those who give up so much, living wages, adequate savings, security retirements, so that their bosses can wallow in the riches so out of proportion to other company workers as to be seen grossly obscene. Now, I think you can get the analogy I'm pointing to here. Our president's superintendent's salary is ranked 7th out of single college, community college districts. He receives a yearly performance increase. The median faculty salary ranks 67th. And I'm not suggesting that President Oakley doesn't deserve his salary or his performance increases. But the full-time faculty, the part-time faculty and staff work just as hard as President Oakley. We're in the trenches. We deserve a substantial performance increase. We deserve a decent, respectful salary increase for all the years that we've gone without. Thank you.
Thank you, Colleen. I saw you have a few supporters out there. Matt Lawrence.
Good evening. Yeah, I'd like to talk about faculty morale and how that relates to pay. I feel like I'm now 16 years at the college, and I feel like morale has just gotten lower and lower and lower over all these years, and it's sad to see. And I think there's all sorts of reasons for this, but I'm going to focus on just one. Pay is the primary way that an employer demonstrates the extent to which they value their employees. Our pay suggests that the work of faculty is just not highly valued. CTA's analysis of the California Community Colleges lists the faculty pay at LBCC as 67th out of 72 colleges. When it comes to pay, we're among the most undervalued faculty in the whole system. Now, what I'd like to suggest, I'd like to, rather than dwell on the negative, I'd like to suggest the positive. I think we can do something about this. And so I'd like to urge President Oakley and the board to make this a priority. I'd like to see you commit to the goal that all constituent groups at this college, whether the full-time faculty, the part-time faculty, the support staff, should receive at minimum average pay among the 10 comparable community colleges listed on page 68, Article 12, Section 1, Number 2 of our CCA Master Agreement. When compared to those 10 colleges, our faculty pay is near or at the bottom on every salary category. Now, I believe that most of us here at the college are constantly striving to make this one of the top community colleges in the state. But regarding pay, we're willing to strive for a lower standard. All we want to do is rise from the bottom. Is average pay really too much to ask? I believe that if the president and the board make it an institutional priority to raise all constituent groups up from average levels of pay, we can achieve it. It might take time, but it needs to be an institutional priority, and the faculty and staff need to see that a clear course has been developed in order to get there in the shortest amount of time possible. This would be one key step among many in order to restore a campus culture in which people feel like their work is valued, a culture in which people want to go above and beyond to make this institution a top institution in every sense of the word. Thank you.
Morgan Barna.
Hello, President Oakley, board. Thank you very much. I'm here to talk about a couple things. City Magazine. First of all, I distributed these to the board, and I'd just like to say a couple words about the magazine. It's an opportunity for full-time, part-time staff to work together with students to really bring their voice out to the student body and give everyone a chance to hear some of the thoughts. So I hope that you enjoy it. I'll just name a couple names. Cindy Fry in journalism was the advisor for the writing. I was the advisor for the design, and Neil Sharam was the photo advisor. So I hope you enjoy it. It gives you a little insight into some of the things our students are really thinking and feeling and expressing through photography, design, and words. So it's a really great magazine. So I just thought I would share that with the board. And I'd just like to thank my colleagues that have really given some eloquent responses and comments today on some of the issues that we're facing. You know, a lot of time goes into producing this outside of our normal duties. And this is just one example of some of the things that all of our faculty, full-time, part-time, and staff do to really help our students succeed. So in that context, I wanted to present it in that way as well. And thank you for your time.
Warren, we want to thank you for bringing this to us. Appreciate it. It's always a good magazine. Christine Warner. Christine.
Christiane, but close enough.
Christiane, I'm sorry, I apologize. I was reasonably close. Yes, okay.
So, thank you so much, Board of Trustees and Superintendent President Oakley. My name is Dr. Christiane Warner, and I'm a professor in the English as Second Language Department. And I am here to talk to you today specifically about selecting the Vice President of Academic Affairs. I have worked here for 9 years, since 2005, and only once, for a period of less than 18 months, have I worked for a Vice President of Academic Affairs selected through the proper channels, as stated in our college's policies and regulations. This implies that I have worked under interim visions and unstable academic affairs office. The month before I began working here, Don Burrs was appointed as interim Vice President of Academic Affairs. He did not leave that position until February of 2012. This is in violation of Title V, Section 53021, which states that no interim appointment or a series of appointments exceed 1 year of duration. It is also a violation of our own college's policy, Regulation 3003.4, which states that an interim appointment should not exceed 1 year, but may be made while regular selection process is being initiated. Such appointments shall be made in consultation with the President's Council. Regular hiring procedures may be completed within a year after the interim appointment has been made. In 2012, Dr. Gathan Lowenstein was selected through the proper channels to hold the office of Vice President of Academic Affairs. He held that position for less than 18 months. We now have Dr. Marilyn Brock, who will be leaving her interim position after serving for 1 year. After 9 years of being here, I implore the Board of Trustees and the President of this college to select a Vice President of Academic Affairs that has a vision and will serve us long term. Thank you.
April Juarez.
Hi. Let's see, what did I come up here for? Gotta think about this. Oh, that wasn't the reason.
You're getting a little music for you to start with.
I see, I could start with the
something
dance.
I know there were 7. So how many are we through?
We're at about 5.
Okay.
We have three more speakers.
Okay, Dr.
Now go
April-
ahead. That didn't count as part of your time.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't have 5 minutes anyway. Dr. April Juarez, and I am here that I wanted to talk about this discussion of limiting the amount of time that instructors can teach online courses to 40%. And I have some issues about it, and the first being that it's not equitable. In my department, we teach 3-unit classes, so I could teach 2 classes online, but if I were in the math department or a science department, I'd have 4- and 5-unit classes, which means they could only teach 1 class online. So right there, it's not equitable. It also is going to limit the availability for our students because getting good online instructors is not an easy task. And filling in those spaces can be very difficult. So once you find somebody who can do a good job, you might want to give them more than 40%. You also might think that, people are under this misconception that teaching an online class is easy, easier than teaching an on-campus class. I'll ask anybody who's taught an online class and they'll tell you, It takes much more time and much more work, and especially in preparation and even in maintenance, and trying to figure out to communicate with the students, because all your communication is through writing. But I thought perhaps that was the reason why the suggestion was to limit it. But then I was told that no, it's because the instructors who are teaching most of their courses online aren't doing their college service hours. Well, I have to admit, I took real personal offense to this, since I've been teaching most of my classes online for over 10 years, and I don't think any of you could say, and anybody who knows me could say, that I haven't done my college service hours. And the best part about my teaching online is it made my schedule flexible enough so that when somebody else needs me to step into their meeting that I'm not usually at, in my department, I step in as a substitute. So it actually gives the flexibility to be able to do it. If the administration is having problems with faculty not doing their college service hours, this isn't the way to address it.
Thank you, April. Donald Kent. Is Donald here? I guess we wore him. Donald? Oh, okay. There you are.
Thank you. My name is Donald Douglas. I'm a I'm a professor of
I'm
political science
sorry.
in the Department of
I
Political
didn't
Science.
add the Douglas to it.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I'll be starting my 15th year teaching here at LBCC in the fall. I would like to talk about the contract a little bit and the negotiations and the disrespect of faculty. Insulting. That's the word I hear most from my colleagues when people are discussing the district's offer of a 2% raise for next year, 1.5% in 2016, and 1.5% in 2017. Insulting. That's what we hear. Now, I don't want to disrespect my colleagues who are on the negotiating team. They've worked hard and they've tried to bring the best deal they could to the faculty. I think the offer is disrespectful myself. As a professional, I think it's fair to expect that the district will treat us like professionals and respect us for the work that we do. Just this last week, I put in a 12-hour day with members of my hiring committee on the new political science hiring job that we're recruiting. The preceding weeks, I reviewed, along with my colleagues, over 60 applications for the position. I also serve on the Academic Senate. I'm also serving on department tenure review committees this semester. This last weekend, I graded nearly 30 semester paper projects for my classes. I've been grading these paper projects since the end of Easter break, and I have another batch to grade this next week before finals. Meanwhile, I teach 6 classes. I hold office hours faithfully. I love office hours because it's the chance I get to meet with my students and ask them what their career plans are and how that I can help them reach their goals. This semester, I've brought back to campus, to LBCC, 2 LBC graduates, 1 transferred to Berkeley, 1 transferred to USC, and she, the second one, is now attending Boston College School of Law in the fall. I brought them so they could speak to my international relations class about transfer opportunities in graduate school. I pride myself on my ability to maintain professional relationships with my former students so that they can share and they can pass it forward with my students in my current classes. I could go on. This is what you want. This is what the college wants in a professional. This is why you hired me. Dr. Brock hired me. Thank you, Dr. Brock, and welcome back. But why don't you respect me? Why doesn't the committee, why doesn't the board respect faculty? We're not keeping up with the cost of living. We need a double-digit raise to bring us up to where we should be relative to other campuses in the area. Not only that, the district has cut our compensation. I don't teach college anymore, summer school classes anymore because I think it's a disrespectful opportunity to teach it hourly rather than contract prorated rate that we used to have. And in closing, I would just ask to think about how the college can restore morale, restore respect for teachers and professors on campus, and please don't insult us with this offer. Thank you.
Thank you. Donald Kent Douglas, I appreciate that. Thank you. Lynn Shaw. Lynn, you get a second crack at us. Welcome again.
This is a regular event for me to speak before you, but I'm so happy to have my faculty colleagues there. Thank you for coming. My name is Dr. Lynn Shaw, and I'm president of the Full-Time Faculty Union. And of course, once again, I want to speak to you about faculty morale. It has been nearly a year since we discontinued 11 programs and laid off 11 full-time faculty. I wish I could say things were better, I wish I could say that time heals all wounds. But the district's misguided attempt to reshape the college has left a great amount of distrust that has yet to be addressed. And faculty are still deeply disturbed by the layoffs and continue to feel disrespected. Faculty have not received the support of administration to do what we do, work with students every day in the classroom. The term student success is used over and over, but it is faculty that are on the front lines, and our professional expertise is continually disregarded. The plummeting morale is affecting major aspects of college life, such as student recruitment, student enrollment, faculty recruitment, and faculty participation and engagement in the college. It's frustrating for me to continually come before this body requesting your leadership on these issues, and nothing is done. Stop ignoring the voice of faculty. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Lynn. I want to thank all of you for being with us today, and we have no reason for a second closed session, so with that, I will consider the meeting to be adjourned. Our next meeting is June 10th at the Pacific Coast Campus. Thank you again for being here. Okay.